The words cut through the air like a blade. "You have no idea who you're talking to." Mei Lin's voice is cold, clear, and spoken in perfect Mandarin, the kind of flawless, sophisticated Mandarin that doesn't come from textbooks or language apps, but from years of study, immersion, and mastery. Marcus Pierce freezes. His wineglass hovers halfway to his lips. His face drains of color like someone just told him his entire fortune disappeared overnight. The restaurant falls silent. Every conversation stops. Every fork pauses mid-air. Even the soft classical music playing through hidden speakers seems to fade into the background. But before we rewind and show you how we got here, if you want stories like this delivered weekly, stories about courage, justice, and what happens when the powerless refuse to stay silent, kindly subscribe and tell us where you are watching from. Now, let's go back. 2 hours earlier. The Golden Lotus restaurant sits in the heart of downtown Beijing, nestled between towering glass skyscrapers and luxury boutiques that sell handbags worth more than most people's annual salary. The entrance is marked by a subtle gold plaque. No flashy signs, no neon lights. If you have to ask where it is, you can't afford to eat there. Inside, the atmosphere breathes wealth. Crystal chandeliers cast warm amber light across white linen tablecloths. Each table is set with precision, gleaming silverware, spotless wine glasses, fresh orchids in slim vases. The walls are decorated with contemporary Chinese art, pieces that cost more than luxury cars. The servers move like shadows, trained to be present but invisible, attentive but never intrusive. This is where Beijing's elite come to see and be seen. Tech moguls, real estate developers, government officials, international businessmen closing deals worth millions. The average dinner bill here could feed a family for months. Mei Lin moves through this world with practiced grace. She's 26, years old, though most people guess younger. Her black hair is pulled back in a neat bun. Her uniform is immaculate. Crisp white shirt, black vest, black slacks, comfortable shoes that don't make noise on the marble floors. She carries herself with quiet professionalism, the kind that comes from genuine competence rather than performative servitude. She's refilling water glasses at table 7 when her phone vibrates in her pocket. During her break, she steps into the small staff area behind the kitchen. She pulls out her phone and answers, switching immediately into rapid, fluent Mandarin. "Yes, Professor Wang, I received your email about the research parameters. No, I'm documenting everything. The patterns are consistent with what we discussed. Yes, I'll have the preliminary data compiled by next week." The head chef, a 60-year-old man named Chen, who's worked in high-end kitchens for 40 years, glances over. He's heard Mei speak like this before, not the simple Mandarin of survival vocabulary, but the complex, educated language of academia and business. "Mei," he says when she hangs up, "you're too educated for this job. Why are you really here?" Mei smiles but doesn't answer directly. "The evening rush is about to start. I should get back." Chef Chen shakes his head, amused. "You're a mystery, girl. A mystery." If he only knew. At exactly 7:30 p.m. the front doors open. Marcus Pierce enters like he owns the place. And given his net worth, north of $3 billion, he could probably buy it without noticing the dent in his bank account. He's in his early 40s, but the kind of 40 that comes with personal trainers, private chefs and dermatologists on speed dial. His suit is custom tailored, probably Brioni or Tom Ford, charcoal grey with subtle pinstripes. His shoes are Italian leather, polished to a mirror shine. His watch is a Patek Philippe, understated but unmistakable to anyone who knows watches. His dark hair is styled with just enough product to look effortless, which means it took 15 minutes and cost $50. Everything about Marcus Pierce screams power, wealth, control. 3 business associates follow him like planets orbiting a sun. They're dressed well too, but not quite at Marcus's level. They laugh at his jokes a half-second too quickly, They nod when he speaks, even before he finishes sentences. They're courting his favor, his investment, his approval. The restaurant manager greets them personally. "Mr. Pierce, welcome back. Your usual table?" Marcus doesn't look at him. "Yes." "No. Please." "No, thank you." Just an assumption that his wants will be met immediately. They're led to a corner booth, the best table in the restaurant, the one with views of the city lights and maximum privacy. The kind of table that's permanently reserved for VIPs, that regular customers can't book, even if they call months in advance. May watches from across the room as they settle in. The manager catches her eye and gestures. She's assigned to their table tonight. She takes a breath, picks up her notepad, and approaches. "Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to Golden Lotus. My name is May, and I'll be taking care of you tonight. Can I start you with drinks?" Marcus glances at her for exactly half a second. His eyes don't see a person. They see a function, a role, a uniform. Then he looks away, already dismissing her. "Bring us a bottle of the 2015 Chateau Margaux," he says to the table, not to her. "And 4 glasses." One of his associates, a thin man with wire-rimmed glasses, adds, "Could we also get—" Marcus cuts him off. "The Margaux is enough." The thin man immediately shuts up. May writes it down. "Of course. I'll be right back with that." As she turns to leave, Marcus leans toward his colleagues and says in English, just loud enough for them to hear, "Let's speak Mandarin. These local workers never understand anyway. We can talk freely." They all laugh, the knowing, superior laugh of people who think they're getting away with something. May's hand tightens slightly on her notepad, but her face remains perfectly neutral, perfectly professional. She walks toward the wine cellar without breaking stride, without showing even a flicker of reaction. But inside? Inside, something shifts. Because Marcus Pierce just made a terrible, terrible mistake. He assumed Mei Lin was just another waitress, just another Beijing service worker with limited education and basic language skills, just another invisible person serving visible people. He looked at her uniform and made a judgment. He looked at her job and decided he knew everything about her intelligence, her education, her worth. He had no idea who she really was. He had no idea what she understood. And he had absolutely no idea what was about to happen. May reaches the wine cellar, selects the Chateau Margaux, a bottle worth over $2,000, and carries it back toward the table with steady hands. Behind her professional smile, her mind is already working. Marcus Pierce thinks he's invisible to her. He thinks he can say anything, do anything, treat her any way he wants because she doesn't matter. But May heard every word he said. Every single word. And she was about to make him regret it. May returns to table 14 with the wine balanced carefully on a silver tray. The Chateau Margaux catches the light. Deep burgundy liquid in a bottle that costs more than most people earn in a month. She sets it down gently, along with 4 crystal glasses. "Shall I open it for you, sir?" Marcus waves his hand dismissively. Obviously. Not yes, please. Not even just yes. Obviously. Like she should have known better than to ask. May uncorks the bottle with practiced precision, the soft pop of expensive wine meeting air. She pours a small amount into Marcus's glass first, waiting for him to taste and approve. This is standard protocol in high-end restaurants. The customer tastes, confirms the wine isn't corked or spoiled, then the server pours for everyone. Marcus swirls the glass, sniffs it briefly, takes a sip. He doesn't look at May, doesn't acknowledge her presence, just sets the glass down, his silent approval. May pours for the other 3 men, then fills Marcus's glass properly. "Is there anything else I can bring you while you look at the menu?" "No, go." Again, not a dismissal with manners. Just go, like she's a dog being sent away from the table. May nods and retreats to the server station, maintaining her professional composure. But she positions herself where she can hear their table clearly. In restaurants like this, good servers develop the skill of selective hearing, knowing when to pay attention and when to tune out. Right now, May is paying very close attention. Marcus takes another sip of wine, then switches to Mandarin. His Mandarin is actually quite Mandarin. Good. Fluent, with only a slight American accent. He spent 2 years in Shanghai building his tech company's Asia division. He's proud of his language skills. They make him feel sophisticated, worldly, superior to other Americans who never bothered to learn. So, he says to his colleagues, all of whom are Chinese nationals, the Beijing real estate deal. Where are we? The thin man with wire-rimmed glasses, his name is Wei, responds. The permits are nearly finalized. We should have approval by next month. And the neighborhood residents who were protesting? Wei smiles, a slightly oily expression. Handled. We made some strategic donations to local officials. The protests have stopped. Marcus nods approvingly. Good. I don't pay you to get blocked by people who can't afford to live in the buildings we're creating anyway. They all chuckle. The casual cruelty doesn't even register on their faces. May stands at the server station, her hand resting on the edge of the counter. Her expression hasn't changed, but her fingers press down slightly harder. Another colleague, a younger man named Chen, leans in. Mr. Pierce, there's something you should know about the construction timeline. If we cut some corners on the foundation inspection, we could save 3 months and about $2 million. Marcus considers this. Safety corners or just bureaucratic corners? Mostly bureaucratic. Maybe some safety, but nothing that would cause immediate problems. Define immediate. 10, maybe 15 years before any structural issues might appear. Marcus swirls his wine, and by then, we'll have sold all the units and moved on to other projects. Exactly. Do it. May's jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. She's hearing them discuss building luxury apartments, apartments where families will live, where children will grow up, while knowingly cutting safety corners to save money and time. But she stays silent, keeps listening. The conversation drifts to business profits, stock prices, investment strategies. May begins to relax slightly. Maybe they'll just talk business, and she can get through this shift without... Then Marcus notices her standing at the server station. He switches to broken, mocking Mandarin and calls across the restaurant. Hey, you, girl? May turns, professional smile fixed in place. Yes, sir. Marcus exaggerates his pronunciation, speaking slowly and loudly like she's a child or hard of hearing. You bring menu. Now? We hungry? You understand. Hungry? His 3 colleagues burst into laughter. Wei adds in perfect Mandarin, I don't think she understands you, Marcus. Try using hand gestures. Marcus mimes eating, making exaggerated chewing motions. Food! We want food! Understand? More laughter. Other diners are starting to notice. A couple at the next table looks uncomfortable. An older businessman across the room frowns disapprovingly, but no one says anything. Marcus Pierce is too important, too wealthy, too powerful for anyone to risk confronting. May walks over, her face a mask of polite service. Of course, sir. I'll bring the menus right away. She heads to the host stand, retrieves 4 leather-bound menus, and returns. She places one in front of each man with careful precision. Our chef's specials tonight include Peking duck with traditional pancakes, pan-seared sea bass with ginger soy reduction, and Wagyu beef with seasonal vegetables. I'm happy to explain any dishes or make recommendations. Marcus looks at his colleagues and says, in fluent Mandarin, listen to her try to sound sophisticated, like she knows anything about fine dining beyond carrying plates. Wei grins. Did you see her reaction when you did the eating gesture? Priceless. The younger man, Chen, adds, these service workers are all the same. Pretty faces, empty heads. They smile and nod and have no idea what's happening around them. Marcus nods sagely. Exactly, that's why I love speaking Mandarin in places like this. We can say whatever we want. They're invisible to us, and we're incomprehensible to them. Perfect arrangement. May stands there, pen poised over her notepad, face neutral. Inside, her heart is pounding. Her mind is racing. Every instinct is screaming at her to respond, to correct them, to show them exactly how wrong they are. But not yet. Not yet. She has a bigger plan forming. Take your time reviewing the menu, gentlemen. I'll be back in a few minutes to take your order. She walks away with measured steps, her posture perfect, her expression unchanged. Behind her, Marcus's voice carries in Mandarin. You know what these people remind me of? NPCs in a video game. They exist to serve a function, then fade back into the background. No real thoughts, no real lives, just programmed responses. The table erupts in laughter again. May reaches the server station. Another waitress, a young woman named Lynn, whispers, "Are you okay? That table is being really rude." "I'm fine," May says quietly. "You should tell the manager. They shouldn't treat you like that." May shakes her head. "It's okay, really." But it's not okay. Not even close. May pulls out her phone, angling it carefully. Modern smartphones have excellent voice recording capabilities. She opens her voice memo app, makes sure it's recording, and slips the phone back into her vest pocket, positioned so the microphone is unobstructed. In Beijing, it's legal to record conversations in public spaces, and a restaurant absolutely qualifies as a public space. Lynn notices. "May, what are you doing?" May looks at her friend. "Research for my thesis." "You're... what?" But May is already walking back toward table 14, her phone quietly recording every word. Because Marcus Pierce has no idea who he's dealing with. He sees a waitress, young, pretty, presumably uneducated, definitely beneath him. He doesn't see the woman who graduated summa cum laude from Peking University with a degree in international business. He doesn't see the graduate student currently pursuing her master's degree in socioeconomics, with a specific focus on wealth inequality and the treatment of service workers in luxury establishments. He doesn't see the researcher who's been working at Golden Lotus for 6 months specifically to gather data about how wealthy clients treat staff when they think no one important is listening. And he definitely doesn't see the fluent Mandarin speaker who's understood every single insulting, condescending, potentially criminal word that's come out of his mouth. May approaches the table. "Have you gentlemen decided on your order?" Marcus doesn't even look up from his menu. "Give us 5 more minutes. We're discussing important things." "Of course, sir." As she turns to leave, Marcus says in Mandarin to his colleagues, "You know what the best part about China is? The service workers actually know their place. In America, even waitresses think they're equal to everyone else. Here, they understand hierarchy. They know they're peasants serving their betters." Wei raises his wine glass. "To hierarchy, may it never be questioned." They all clink glasses, laughing. May walks away. Her phone is recording everything, and Marcus Pierce has absolutely no idea what's about to happen. But he's about to find out. 10 minutes later, May returns to take their food order. Marcus is on his second glass of Chateau Margaux now, his cheeks slightly flushed, his confidence amplified by expensive wine and the echo chamber of yes-men surrounding him. He's leaning back in the booth, one arm stretched across the top of the leather seat, completely comfortable in his power. "Finally," he says, when he sees May approaching. Then in exaggerated, broken Mandarin. "We, ready, order, now." His colleagues snicker. May stands beside the table, pen ready, face professionally neutral. "What can I get for you, sir?" Marcus points at the menu, speaking in slow, mocking Mandarin. "I want duck. You... no. Duck. Bird that go... quack quack." He actually makes the quacking sound. Wei and Chen are laughing so hard that Chen nearly spills his wine. "Yes, sir," May says calmly. "The Peking duck. Excellent choice. Would you like it served traditional style with pancakes, scallions, and hoisin sauce?" Marcus waves his hand. Sure. Whatever. You choose. You probably can't understand the difference anyway." In fluent Mandarin, he says to Wei, "Watch this. I'm going to see how much I can confuse her." Then back to broken Mandarin directed at May. Also bring food that is swimming fish before now cooked fish. You understand? May writes on her notepad. The pan-seared sea base. Of course. Marcus looks delighted, like this is the most entertaining game he's played in months. Yes, fish, good girl. You understand fish? He reaches into his wallet, pulls out a 100 yuan note, about $15, and holds it out like he's rewarding a pet. Here, tip, for being good server who try hard. The other diners are watching now. An elegant older woman at table 9 looks disgusted. A young couple at table 6 is filming on their phone, though they're trying to be discreet about it. May doesn't take the money. Tips are included in the service charge, sir, but thank you. Marcus shrugs and drops the bill on the table. In Mandarin to his colleagues. See? They don't even understand how tipping works. Probably sends all her money back to some village to support her peasant family. Wei leans in, his voice lower. Speaking of money, Marcus, about the Beijing development. Are you concerned about the news coverage? Some journalists have been asking questions about the displaced residents, Marcus scoffs. Journalists, please, we'll issue a press release about creating jobs and modernizing the neighborhood. People eat that up. By the time anyone realizes what really happened, the buildings will be sold and we'll be on to the next project. Chen adds, what about the safety inspection shortcuts? If that comes out. It won't, Marcus cuts him off. We have inspectors on payroll. The paperwork will be perfect. And even if something does happen years from now, we'll blame it on poor maintenance by the property management company. We've done this before. We know how to cover our tracks. May's pen hasn't moved for the last 30 seconds. She's standing completely still, absorbing every word. Wei notices her standing there. Why is she still here? Marcus glances at May like he forgot she existed. In broken Mandarin, you, go now, bring food. We talk. Important business. Not for you. May nods. Of course, sir, I'll put your order in right away. She walks toward the kitchen, her phone still recording in her pocket. Behind her, Marcus's voice carries. These people are like furniture. You forget they're even in the room. In the kitchen, Chef Chen sees May's face. What's wrong? Nothing, May says. I just need a minute. She steps into the small staff bathroom, locks the door, and takes a long, slow breath. Her hands are shaking slightly, not from fear, but from suppressed rage. She spent 6 months working here, documenting how wealthy clients treat service workers. She's seen condescension before. She's heard insulting comments. She's experienced casual dismissal. But this is different. This isn't just rudeness. This is cruelty performed as entertainment. This is a billionaire who knows better, who came from humble beginnings himself, deliberately mocking someone for their job while discussing potentially illegal business practices. May looks at herself in the mirror. Her reflection stares back. Professional, composed, controlled. She makes a decision. The original plan was to collect data, write her thesis, publish her research in academic journals. Stay invisible, stay silent, document and analyze from a distance. But some moments demand more than documentation. Some moments demand action. May returns to the dining room. She delivers appetizers to table 9, refills water at table 6, checks on the couple who were filming earlier. Excuse me, the young woman whispers. That man at table 14, is he always like that? May gives her a small, knowing smile. He won't be for much longer. The woman looks confused, but May has already moved on. Marcus's food comes up. The kitchen staff has outdone themselves. The Peking duck is perfectly crispy, the sea bass is garnished beautifully, the presentation is flawless. May and another server carry the dishes out on large trays. They're setting the plates down when Marcus's phone rings. He glances at the screen. Sorry, I need to take this. It's my CFO. He stands up, walking toward the restaurant's entrance area for better reception, speaking in English. Yeah, talk to me about the Q3 numbers. With Marcus temporarily away from the table, Wei and Chen start talking more freely. Wei says in Mandarin, "I still think we're cutting it too close with the safety inspections. If even one journalist digs deep—" Chen interrupts. "Relax. Marcus has been doing this for years. He knows how to manage risk. But the foundation alone will be fine. And even if it isn't, that's decades from now. We'll all be retired on private islands by then." They laugh, raising their wine glasses. May stands at the service station watching Marcus pace near the entrance, still on his phone. Her own phone is still recording. Every word, every confession, every casual admission of corruption. And then something happens that changes everything. May's phone rings. It's her academic advisor, Professor Wang, calling about her thesis research. Terrible timing, but Professor Wang only calls when it's important. May steps slightly away from the main dining area and answers, instinctively switching to Mandarin. Not basic Mandarin, but sophisticated, academic Mandarin. "Wei, Wang Jiaoshu, Wo Gangchai Shule, Nin de Yu Jian." "Hello, Professor Wang. I just received your email." Her voice carries slightly in the quiet restaurant. At table 14, Wei and Chen freeze mid-conversation. May continues, completely fluent, discussing research methodology and data analysis. "Wo yi jing jilu lehen duo anli, tebeishi guanyu kaifu budengdeng he shehui jicheng ji jian de hudong." I've already documented numerous cases, particularly regarding wealth inequality and interactions between social classes. Wei's face has gone pale. Chen's wineglass stops halfway to his mouth. Across the room, Marcus has finished his call and is walking back toward the table. He doesn't notice his colleague's expressions yet. May finishes her call. "Howday, wo xia zhou hui ba chu bao gao ge nin, xie nin, jiao shou." "Okay, I'll have the preliminary report to you next week." "Thank you, Professor." She hangs up. The restaurant has gone quiet. Other diners have noticed something shifting in the atmosphere. May turns toward table 14. Marcus is sitting down again, picking up his fork, completely oblivious. Wei whispers urgently in Mandarin, "Marcus! Marcus! She speaks!" But May is already approaching the table, and the look on her face has changed. No more professional neutrality, no more practiced smile. Her expression is calm, controlled, and absolutely terrifying. She reaches the table, sets down her notepad with deliberate precision, and looks Marcus Pierce directly in the eye. Then she speaks in perfect Mandarin. Flawless pronunciation, sophisticated vocabulary, the accent of educated Beijing natives. "Mr. Pierce, before we continue, I need to make some corrections to your earlier statements." Marcus looks up, fork frozen in midair. His brain hasn't caught up yet. He's still processing the fact that the words coming out of May's mouth are in Mandarin, real Mandarin, not the broken tourist phrases he was using. "I'm sorry, what?" he says in English, confused. May continues in Mandarin, each word precisely enunciated. "First, I do understand Mandarin. I speak it fluently. I studied at Peking University, where I graduated summa cum laude with a degree in international business. I'm currently pursuing my master's degree in socioeconomics at Tsinghua University." The color drains from Marcus's face like water circling a drain. Wei has stopped breathing. Chen looks like he might be sick. "Second," May continues, her voice steady and clear, "I heard every word you said tonight. Every insult, every cruel joke, every condescending comment about service workers being peasants, being NPCs, being furniture." Marcus tries to speak. I didn't mean—" "You did mean it," May cuts him off, still in perfect Mandarin. "You meant every word. You and your colleagues sat here speaking freely because you assumed I was too stupid, too uneducated, too beneath you to understand." She pauses, letting it sink in. "But here's what's really interesting, Mr. Pierce. I'm not just a waitress. I'm working here as part of my research. My master's thesis examines wealth inequality and the treatment of service workers in luxury establishments. I've been documenting client behavior for 6 months. May pulls her phone from her pocket, sets it on the table. And I have everything you said tonight, time-stamped, recorded. Every insult, every confession about cutting safety corners on Beijing construction projects, every admission about bribing local officials, every casual discussion of fraud and corruption. Marcus stands up so fast his chair scrapes loudly against the floor. The entire restaurant is watching now. Every conversation has stopped. Several people have their phones out, recording. "You can't," Marcus stammers. "That's illegal. You can't record private conversations." May's expression doesn't change. Actually, in Beijing, recording conversations in public spaces is perfectly legal, and this restaurant absolutely qualifies as a public space. I suggest you consult with your attorneys before making claims about what's legal and what isn't. Wei tries to intervene. "May, please, we didn't mean any harm." "Didn't you?" May turns to him. "You sat there discussing cutting safety corners on buildings where families will live. You laughed about bribing officials. You called service workers peasants and furniture. And you did it all while assuming we were too stupid to understand, too powerless to matter." She looks back at Marcus. "You want to know what's really illegal, Mr. Pierce? Building residential structures with substandard foundations to save money, bribing government officials, committing fraud in construction permits. Those are crimes. Actual crimes." Marcus's jaw works, but no sound comes out. Mai continues, her voice softening slightly but losing none of its steel. "I looked you up after you made your reservation. I know your story. Self-made billionaire, grew up poor. Mother worked 3 jobs, including waitressing, to put you through school. You built your empire from nothing." Marcus flinches like she slapped him. "So, you know better," May says quietly. "You know exactly what it feels like to be dismissed because of your job, your background, your position in society. And yet you became the exact kind of person who made your mother's life miserable." The silence in the restaurant is absolute. May picks up her phone, tucks it back in her pocket. "Respect isn't something your money can buy, Mr. Pierce. It's something you earn by treating people with dignity, especially people who can't fight back without risking everything." She straightens, her professional demeanor returning. "Now, would you gentlemen still like to finish your dinner, or would you prefer to leave?" Marcus stands there, his expensive suit suddenly looking like costume armor that failed to protect him. His colleagues won't meet his eyes. The other diners are filming, whispering, watching the billionaire get taken down by a waitress. For the first time in years, maybe decades, Marcus Pierce is completely powerless, and he has no idea what happens next. The video goes viral in 4 hours, not May's recording, she hasn't released that yet, but the couple from Table 6, their shaky phone footage of the confrontation spreads across Chinese social media like wildfire. Billionaire destroyed by waitress hits 10 million views by midnight. By morning, it's 20 million. By noon, Marcus Pierce is trending on Weibo, and the comments are vicious. But then, something shifts. Marcus's PR team goes into full combat mode. By 2 p.m., counter-narrative emerges on social media, posts from newly created accounts, comments that seem coordinated, all saying the same things. This is clearly a setup. The waitress probably planned this for attention. How convenient that she just happened to be recording. This is extortion. Marcus Pierce built his empire from nothing. Some gold-digger waitress is trying to destroy him for money. She's probably lying about her education. Anyone can claim to go to Peking University. The attacks come fast and brutal. Within hours, Chinese internet detectives are digging into May's life. They find her university records. Real. Her thesis research, legitimate. But that doesn't stop them. Someone posts her home address. Another account shares photos of her mother's modest apartment. Look at where she lives. Definitely doing this for money. The restaurant manager calls May into his office the next morning. His face is apologetic but firm. "May, I need you to understand our position. Mr. Pierce is a valued client. His company does significant business entertaining here, and now we're getting calls from reporters, from his lawyers. You're firing me, May says flatly. We're asking you to take a leave of absence, paid, until this situation resolves itself. The manager responded. That's the same thing, May said. The manager won't meet her eyes. The recording you made on restaurant property, our lawyers say it could expose us to liability. Mr. Pierce's team is suggesting we were complicit in… I made that recording legally, in a public space. You had nothing to do with it, May explained. That may be true, but the perception, the manager said before May cuts him off, is that you're protecting a billionaire who treats your staff like garbage instead of the employee who documented it. Then there was silence. Take the leave, May. Please, for your own safety. The media attention, the online harassment, it's only going to get worse. May walks out of Golden Lotus knowing she'll never walk back in. By day 3, the harassment escalates. Someone hacks May's email and leaks her thesis draft to the media. Conservative commentators tear it apart. This so-called research is just class warfare disguised as academics. She's been targeting wealthy customers for months. This was premeditated entrapment. A prominent business blogger writes, May Lin represents everything wrong with entitled millennials. Instead of being grateful for employment, she weaponizes service work to attack successful people. May's phone rings constantly. Reporters, lawyers, strangers calling to threaten her, insult her, tell her she's going to regret this. Her mother begs her to stop. Delete the recording, apologize, make this go away. I didn't do anything wrong, May keeps saying. I know, baby. But look what standing up is costing you. May's university advisor calls. May, the department is receiving pressure. Donors are threatening to pull funding if we support your research. The administration is asking if maybe you should postpone your thesis defense, just until things calm down. They want me to quit, May says. They want you to be strategic. Wait 6 months. Let this blow over. He responded. Professor Wang, we both know let this blow over means let them win. Silence on the other end. I'm defending my thesis as scheduled, May says. If the university won't support that, I'll find one that will. She hangs up. That night, alone in her apartment, May sits with her laptop open. The recording file stares back at her. 2 hours and 47 minutes of Marcus Pierce confessing to construction fraud, bribery, criminal negligence. She could release it, send it to every media outlet in China, destroy him completely. Her finger hovers over the upload button. Then her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Release that recording and we'll bury you. We have lawyers that cost more than you'll make in your lifetime. We'll sue you for defamation, harassment, illegal recording, corporate espionage. We'll make sure you never work in academia again. Try us. May stares at message. This is what power looks like. Not Marcus's embarrassment at a dinner table. This. The full weight of billions of dollars and unlimited legal resources deployed to silence one person who dared to speak up. Another text arrives. This one with an attachment. A photo of her mother leaving work. She looks healthy. Would be a shame if her employer received information about her daughter's legal troubles. Hard to keep jobs when your family is involved in lawsuits. May's hands start shaking. They're threatening her mother now. Not explicitly. Never explicitly. But the message is clear. She closes her laptop, walks to her window, looks out at Beijing's glittering skyline. All those towers built by people like Marcus Pierce, filled with people who think power makes them untouchable. And May makes a decision. Not the decision they expect. Not retreat. Not surrender. Something else entirely. She picks up her phone and makes a call. Professor Wang, I need you to connect me with someone. A journalist. Someone who can't be bought. May, are you sure? I'm sure. They think threatening me will make me back down. They're about to learn why that was a mistake. Because May Lin spent 6 months documenting exactly how the wealthy abuse power. And now she's about to show them what happens when the powerless refuse to stay silent. The journalist's name is Chen Jiao. She's 53 years old, been investigating corruption for 30 years, survived 3 lawsuits, 2 death threats, and 1 mysterious car accident that everyone knows wasn't an accident. She works for a small independent news outlet that survives on crowdfunding because no major corporation will advertise with them. She's exactly who May needs. They meet in a small tea house in a neighborhood where billionaires don't venture. Chen Jiao listens to the recording with headphones, her face expressionless. When it finishes, she removes the headphones slowly. "This is explosive," she says quietly. "Construction fraud, bribery, safety violations that could kill people, and you have it all documented." "Can you publish it?" May asks. Chen Jiao is quiet for a long moment. "May, you understand what will happen if I do? Marcus Pierce has unlimited resources. His lawyers will come after both of us. They'll sue for defamation, challenge the recording's authenticity, drag this through courts for years." "I know," May says. Chen Jiao continues. "Your academic career will be destroyed. My outlet will probably be bankrupted by legal fees, and there's no guarantee we will win." "But we might," May says. "And if we don't try, he gets away with it. All of it. The insults, the fraud, the threats. He learns that money and power mean he never has to face consequences." Chen Jiao studies her. "Why are you really doing this? Revenge?" May thinks about her mother working double shifts, smiling at customers who treated her like furniture. She thinks about the families who'll live in Marcus Pierce's buildings, unaware that corners were cut on their safety to save money. She thinks about every service worker who's been dismissed, insulted, rendered invisible. "Justice," May says. "I'm doing this for justice." Chen Jiao nods slowly. "Okay, but we do this right. Full verification. Independent experts analyzing the recording. Multiple sources confirming the construction details. This has to be bulletproof." "How long will that take?" May asks. 2 weeks, maybe 3, Chen Jiao replies. "I'll give you 1 week," May says. "After that, they'll find a way to stop us." 6 days later, Marcus Pierce's phone rings at 6 a.m. It's his head of PR, voice panicked. "Marcus, we have a problem. Chen Jiao just published." Marcus is already pulling up the article on his tablet. The headline, "Billionaire's Empire Built on Fraud, Exclusive Recording Exposes Safety Violations, Bribery, Worker Exploitation." Below it, a full transcript of the restaurant conversation. Audio files embedded. Expert analysis from construction engineers confirming the safety violations. Documentation of the permits, the timeline, the budget shortcuts. Everything. Marcus's hands are shaking. "How did this happen? We threatened her. We were monitoring her communications." "She outplayed us, Marcus. She went offline for a week, met the journalist in person, no digital trail. By the time we knew what was happening, it was already published." The article is already trending. Within an hour, it's picked up by major outlets. By noon, it's international news. Marcus's lawyers issue immediate denials. They call the recording fabricated, claim Mei Lin is a disgruntled employee with an agenda, threaten massive lawsuits. But the audio analysis comes back clean. Independent experts confirm it's unedited. Construction regulators announce immediate investigations of Skyline residences. The public backlash is devastating. Marcus's company's stock drops 15% in 1 day. Board members demand emergency meetings. Investors threaten to pull funding. Business partners distance themselves. More importantly, people are listening. Service workers across China start sharing their own stories. Hashtags trend, "Nas, Jas, I am not invisible." Martian service workers. "Speak up." Sesh, Mai Lin was right. A movement erupts overnight. But Marcus isn't done fighting. His lawyers file a 50 million yuan lawsuit against May for defamation, corporate espionage, and damages. They freeze her bank accounts. They contact Tsinghua University demanding her expulsion. The pressure is immense. Then something unexpected happens. Crowdfunding campaigns appear online. Support Mei Lin's legal defense. Within 48 hours, they raised 2 million yuan. Service workers donate. Students donate. People who've been dismissed and disrespected donate. The message is clear. Mei isn't fighting alone anymore. A coalition of labour rights lawyers offers to represent her pro bono. Construction workers' unions file their own complaints against Pierce Development. Families who purchased units in other Marcus Pierce buildings demand safety inspections. The Beijing government, feeling public pressure, launches a formal investigation into the Skyline Residences project. And then the inspectors find something worse than anyone expected. Not just substandard foundations. Structural defects in 3 other Pierce Development projects across China. Buildings already occupied. Families already living there. All with the same corner cutting, the same safety violations, the same prioritization of profit over human lives. Immediate evacuations are ordered. Thousands of residents displaced. Lawsuits multiply. Marcus Pierce's empire isn't just damaged, it's collapsing. 4 weeks after the article publishes, Marcus makes a choice. Not the choice his lawyers recommend, not the choice his board demands. He posts a video. No PR team, no script. Just him, sitting in an empty office, looking exhausted. "My name is Marcus Pierce," he begins, "and everything in that recording is true." The internet explodes. "I did cut corners on construction safety. I did bribe officials. I did treat service workers with contempt and cruelty. And I did all of it while convincing myself that success justified the methods." He pauses, rubbing his face. "My mother, Maria Pierce, was a waitress for 23 years. She raised me alone. She taught me that every person deserves dignity, regardless of their job or income, and I forgot that. I became exactly the kind of person who made her life miserable. I can't undo what I did. I can't take back the insults, repair the damage, or erase the harm, but I can stop lying, I can stop fighting, and I can accept the consequences of my actions. I'm stepping down as CEO of Pierce Development, effective immediately. I'm liquidating my personal assets to create a fund for residents displaced by our safety violations. I'm cooperating fully with all investigations and inspections. This won't make me a good person, but maybe it makes me slightly less terrible than I was." He looks directly into the camera. "Mei Lin, if you're watching, you were right about everything. Thank you for not letting me get away with it." The video goes viral. Not everyone forgives him. Many never will. But something shifts. 6 months later, Mei successfully defends her thesis. The lawsuits against her are dropped. The university issues a formal apology. Her research becomes the foundation for new labor protection laws in Beijing. Marcus Pierce's foundation, funded by his liquidated assets, provides restitution to displaced families and scholarships to service workers. He doesn't attend the ceremony, doesn't seek recognition, just quietly tries to repair what he broke. Mei doesn't forgive him, but she acknowledges the change. Because this story isn't about redemption. It's about accountability. It's about what happens when invisible people refuse to stay silent. It's about the moment someone with everything to lose decides truth matters more than comfort. And it's about understanding that power, real power, isn't money or status or control. Real power is having nothing, risking everything, and speaking anyway. Mei Lin proved that, and the world listened. If you enjoyed this episode, like, comment, and subscribe for more. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated. Share the story with friends and join us for more stories.